Hi, what's up, y'all? It's Poppin' and Steve. About to react to this vid by Naomi Cannibal. It's titled Megan, the Visuals, a Hiss and Cobra Breakdown. I know there's a lot of Megan and Nikki related videos lately, but hey, this is the talk of the week, all right? It is what it is. People ask me to react to, and I'm here for it. I reacted to both of these music videos on my Patreon, and I did mention how I like the visuals on both of these, but she's gonna do a full breakdown, so we're gonna hear what she has to say for each video. Let's watch.
Hello and welcome back to my channel. So today we are going to be talking about both Cobra and Hiss. Obviously Hiss more so because it is Meg's more recent release. And since I never ended up doing a full video talking about Cobra and would just bring it up in other videos, my plan was once the second single for this era was released to sort of talk about the songs of both and especially talk about the videos and visuals for both, since it was so obvious that in the ending of the Cobra video it was going to lead into whatever the second single was. And we now know that that is Hiss, so let's go ahead and get into it.
I didn't catch that.
So way back when Cobra was announced, Meg posted some screenshots about what Cobras represent, and according to her, it's a mix between courage, rebirth, and vulnerability. And rebirth in the sense of the past trial, new music era, and also this is her first era being independent. Also back then, she posted an Ouroboros, which is a snake eating its own tail, which can also symbolize rebirth and also just infinity, strength, power, continuation. We get that rebirth symbolism in the opening of the video, directed by Douglas Bernhardt, by the way, with Meg crawling out of the Cobra's mouth. It's giving birth canal, kind of, which is doubling down on that symbolism. Also, I got a little crawling out of the belly of the beast vibes, which is a biblical reference, referencing the story of Jonah and the whale, by the way. But also means moving out of a terrible situation, the inverse being in the belly of the beast, aka still in an awful situation. And also in that Bible story, the beast or the whale, so to speak, not only does it reference danger or being in a situation out of your control that you don't necessarily like, but the reason that Jonah is swallowed by the whale is so that he doesn't drown. So in a sense, even though you don't want to be there, it's also a representation or a symbol of protection and prevention of something terrible happening. And while obviously Megan did not prevent what happened to her, I do think the connection there is that the Cobra likewise is a symbol of courage and protection. Another scene I like was the part where she's in the bedroom with the snakes on the floor under her, so still in her intimate space, as in she's let these people in her circle just for them to betray her. And I did notice that they're specifically black snakes, and I think there's a connection there to be made in his video. Like snakes in the carpet, if you will, rather than snakes in the grass. And then as she's rapping, the walls in her bedroom turn into that darker snake scales, kind of like armor, if you will. My favorite shots in the music video overall are the scene where Megan's ripping her skin off, which that VFX does make my skin crawl a little, and people are just watching her bare it all. Or really they're watching through their phones, or they're taking pictures, or they're recording. And they're watching with completely straight faces, the way a lot of us consume people's lives, be it their pain, their joy, their drama, but we feel so desensitized and removed from it because we're watching through a phone. Or even if we do feel connected to it, we're still watching through a phone, so it's not really happening in front of us. We don't know the full story. So even though it is someone's real life or a situation that they're actually experiencing, for a lot of us, it's just quote-unquote entertainment, and often our thoughts on that situation can end the moment we close whatever app we're consuming that news on. And then finally, I want to touch on the ending scene in the desert. There's no rapping here, instead just some choreo, and the focus is more on that guitar solo, and I'm going to keep saying that that could have gone on a little bit longer.
Wait, it could have gone on longer? I hate this part. I turn off the song as soon as this part starts. Personally, I don't like it. But yeah, everything before that, I fuck with it.
And at the end of the video, we do get a tight shot on the Cobra eggs, and one starts shaking and rattling, and it's very obvious the next video or the single is going to pick up there when the egg opens. And earlier last week, Meg announced his and dropped the cover art. When I first saw the white snake, I was like, oh, maybe this is what cracked out of the egg, and I know that it's not now. But white snakes can symbolize luck, wealth, protection, and new beginnings, which I'm assuming this is meant to represent because the snake is coiled around her. Also in this video, Meg is wearing a lot of red, and there is a lot of red in the shots. And red represents danger, it represents boldness, and in the terms of animals and nature, it can also represent giving a warning, which is a sign that she's going to be more assertive, more dominant with this song versus Cobra, which was a more vulnerable showing, and there was almost no red in that video. This music video is also directed by Douglas Bernhardt, and it of course opens with the egg from the previous video cracking open and Meg coming out of it with some long white press-ons that kind of look like claws or fangs. And after the intro, we zoom inside the egg, and Meg is in it, please. Not Meg in the egg. In the first verse, all pretty much in a row, we get Meg referencing Mariah Carey's Obsessed, which also lets you know right off the bat that this is going to be a diss. I guess, if the intro didn't make that clear. Also a Kris Jenner reference, and then the line that had a lot of people stumped, which was the one about making R. Kelly dance go viral. Apparently this refers to some TikTok trend where people were dancing to one of R. Kelly's songs, which, yeah, that didn't cross my algorithm, so I was confused and didn't know what she was talking about. Something else I have noticed, and Meg is not the first by far, is how many artists are now referencing stands in social media in their music, even if indirectly, because it's obviously just so prevalent now. And I guess beforehand, the equivalent of that would be the paparazzi or the tabloids, maybe. And of course, the Megan's Law lyric is the line heard around the world at this point. Obviously, people took it as a Nicki diss, and I think I would be dumb to say that it wasn't at all. But my assumption was that Meg was kind of casting her net wide with this one because there are so many people in the industry that line also applies to. And I thought that was the point, that it could apply to more than one person. And I saw other people pointing that out too, so I'm like, okay, maybe it wasn't just me thinking that. Around when she raps this verse, we get a really cool shot of what's meant to look like a brain, but it's a bunch of Megans. The shot pulls out and we see it's actually Megan, and I thought she was going to show that she was on other people's minds, but this makes it seem like we're meant to interpret it as she's her own main focus. I'm not sure what to make of this little funhouse House of Illusion shot where all of the Megans take turns rapping. I like it though, but I think it might just be a lead-in to the mirror effect shot with her and her alter ego Tina Snow. And back in 2022, Meg did say she retired all of her alter egos for Traumazine, saying that for that album she just wanted to rap as herself rather than alter egos. But of course, they're still inside of her, primarily Tina Snow, who's Meg's most famous alter ego. And the opening credits do frame the video, and so the song by extension, as a collaboration between Meg and Tina. I also want to talk about this sort of control room shot, symbolizing Meg's being in control, and again, she's watching herself, or part of herself, once the shot switches over to Tina. Actually, looking again, they are kind of hard to see, but there are little faces or masks maybe that look like Meg's all hanging up. The one furthest to the right has a black snake encircled around it, but the other three don't have anything on them. 3 alter egos like Tina, Sugar, Hot Girl Meg, plus Meg herself makes 4, or 3 plus a new alter ego, but there's no confirmation of that. So I'm not sure if it's meant to represent the alter egos plus Meg or just alter egos in general, which it could be since different faces and masks could mean that, and she's just watching one of her alter egos at the moment while the other ones are quote-unquote hanging up. The second verse continues on with Meg saying she's not afraid of any man either, referring to herself as Teflon Don in the courtroom. Any man go against me, I handle shit. I'm Teflon Don in the courtroom, and they be throwing that dirt on shit stick. Teflon's non-sig material, but the name also refers to John Gotti, the boss of the Gambino crime family, who walked away clean after several high-profile cases. And John Gotti, or Teflon Don, he's obviously a popular person to reference in general in hip-hop. This is what, half Tina, half Meg, maybe Hot Girl Meg, look, gives me Cruella DeVille just a little bit. And y'all know I love a little reachy reach / coincidence, but she also drops the I'm a big dog bitch line there. And also in this look, we get the these niggas hate on BBLs and be walking around with the same scars line. That's allegedly about Drake, but could definitely be about more people than him. And I'm not sure, and I don't think it's specifically about BBLs, but just any type of invasive cosmetic surgery in general, like the lipo that they do to get abs. And then the other lines, cosplay gangsters, fake-ass accents, also make it seem like Drake is at least one of the people she's talking about in his, especially because of his fake Jamaican accent and patois he used, especially in the Views era. I would assume it's a response to him seemingly calling her out on his song Circle Loco last year. Oh, in 2022, my bad.
Shawty said she graduated.
Also, to touch on the ever since I claimed the summer, all you bitches want a season line. Some people were saying this might be a Sweetie diss because, she's Miss Icy Girl, Icy Season. This was news to me, and I could not find that they had any actual beef, but that people online were kind of just pitting them against each other because of their comparative season.
I don't think that's the case. I thought she was just naming like seasons because it's Hot Girl Summer. Summer is a season, so she's just saying that all y'all want seasons because I got the summer, so y'all want some other seasons. That's what I took it as. I don't think she's throwing a shot at Sweetie.
And the most I could find was that Meg was making a comment that people were trying to replicate Hottie World, which is her vlog series, and people thinking this might be shade at Sweetie because by that point she had her own vlog series called The Icy Life. So yeah, there might potentially be beef, but I don't think it's anything confirmed, but there are blog articles about it, but I think if it was beef, it was just most of the form of love, but anything is possible. And if that line wasn't about Sweetie, or there's another way it could be interpreted, which is where my brain went first, it was Meg bursting on the scene with Hot Girl Summer, and that's one of the phrases, songs that she's most known for. But now that she's in the public eye, refers to herself as Hot Girl Summer, all that. More people are trying to provoke her in whatever way and get a reaction, a little 15 minutes, what have you, and that's the so-called season that she's referring to. Because the social media drama or on the subject will be intense for a while, and then like the seasons change, people do eventually move on. Especially paired with the intro to his This Is What I Thought when I heard that line. Every time I get mentioned, one of y'all bitch ass get 24 hours of attention. After letting Tina rap for her for a little while, Meg is lounging, enjoying her little drinky drink. We shift to another set where Tina's walking this white platform or path with pits of black snakes on either side, similar to the ones in her room from the Cobra video. The platform ends on this outstretched hand right under it, which looks like it was made by some lava or something hardened into that form. It also looks like it could have been some sort of pristine statue or sculpture at some point, but has just been decayed and broken down. It's a left hand, and I'm not sure if that's intentional, but I'm going to assume that these artistic choices are not random. So according to the University of Michigan, the right and left hand have different symbols related to each. The right is the rational, conscious, and logical, as well as the aggressive and anxious, whereas the left, opposite of the right, of course, symbolizes weakness, decay, and death. Out of the two, the left hand is also considered unlucky in several cultures, or one that represents misfortune. Unless it's itching, because then it's the money hand. But the hand does look like it's decaying, and it's actually touching all of the black snakes, the quote-unquote bad ones, the enemies, while Tina or Meg is not. She's on that white platform, protected, sort of harkening back to the white snake, and not gonna fall if the hand or the arm gets corrupted and falls into that pit of black snakes. And hands in general can be used to connect or lead, be a helping hand, friendship, handshakes, all of that. But that can only last so long or only go so far before you or your life gets corrupted, because you can't be friends with or trust or lend a hand out to everybody. And at this point, the song is over, and in the outro, Meg says, download JPay since it's got so much to say, or schedule a conjugal visit or something, which is her response likely to people who are defending or siding with Tory Lanez, especially back when the Free Tory movement was popular on social media.
It's still popular.
And if you don't know, JPay is a company that offers and facilitates money transfers for inmates as well as other services like email and video communication. And as you are all well aware, Tory Lanez is currently incarcerated.
That's why these niggas got phones.
The video ends with the camera rushing back on the platform, back through the red door. And it seems like Tina's still on the platform, though, so I think we're getting
I want her to retire
in the next single video. But I appreciate how so far each of the videos ends in a way that makes it clear the next video is going to be a continuation of the one before. I did see someone actually interpret this opposite to the way that I did, where they thought the ending of this video leads back into the beginning of the Cobra video. So maybe it could mean either or both. Let me know what you think. And then another thing I noticed with these two singles, aside from titling them Cobra and Hiss, most of the snake imagery is in the music videos, in the visuals, and actually the lyrics in both songs don't really reference snakes in the literal sense, and they don't say the song's title in either of them. I am still up in the air, though, as to whether I think the entire album is gonna be snake-themed or even snake-titled, because, obviously we got it with Cobra, and then I was thinking, okay, maybe it'll just be Cobra, but at the end of the video, egg, whatnot, and then we got Hiss, and it's...
I hope she concludes it there. We've seen enough snakes. I don't mind when artists introduce like gimmicks or themes or whatever the case, but you have to know when it's time to lay it to rest, when people are over it. I feel like she's already done it with these two music videos. If she tries to do it again, people are going to be like, all right, girl, you and these goddamn snakes. So hopefully she just leaves it here, because, like people grew tired of the whole demonic nonsense that was going on with Doja. People don't want to keep seeing that. And of course, it creeps some people out. But even the people who weren't creeped out, like me, for example, I still was just over it. Like, okay, give us something else. But I feel like Doja has already started to ease up off of it with her song or her music video for Agora Hills. But yeah, I did enjoy both of these music videos. I already gave my thoughts on them over on my Patreon. If you're interested, go check it out. Anyway, y'all let me know what y'all think, though. Let me know what other videos you want me to watch, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Bye!